Hey everyone, my name is Maggie Leonard. Welcome to our Solidarity Snack Time series. I'm with you here today to discuss self care, what it is, why it's important, and how to do it. So, self care refers to the decisions and actions that individuals can take to improve their own health or address physical and mental health problems. This term dates back to Dorothea Orem, who in the 1950s used it within the nursing community to describe a person's ability to attend to and deal with themselves and their diabetes, seeking practical results for one's own health. A certain level of stress helps us to function. The dark band in the middle of this graph represents the normal amount of stress that one might face in any given day and their response to that stress optimally. Stress motivates us to eat, to bathe, to work, to seek out connection with others. If we experience too little stress, we might simply stay in bed, bored and depressed. If we experience too much stress, we might feel overstimulated or on the verge of a panic attack. Ideally, we maintain a stress level that allows us to function and move through the world. So, barriers to changing our behavior and engaging in self care routines are real. We've all been there. I've been in my therapist's office shooting down her suggestions for how I could better care for myself. We don't always follow through with the self care that we know is good for us and important. And it's harder than it sounds, right? Responsibilities get in the way. We sometimes don't have the bandwidth to start something new. However, if we're going to approach these barriers as challenges to overcome instead of problems that will never go away, we must identify what they are. This list is compiled from a survey that the American Psychological Association sent out a few years ago about what people perceived to be their barriers to self care. So it's anything from they don't have enough time to they lack willpower. For some, it's expensive, right? Therapy is not something that comes cheaply. Some folks lack confidence that they can make the change. Others are having difficulty keeping track of all their duties, all their obligations, everything that they're supposed to do in the day. Adding something else to the list just might require too much effort. Others feel stressed making challenges. They're just doing what they can. And sometimes there's a disability or other health problem that prevents someone from making the changes that they seek. Others are too embarrassed to exercise in public. Health insurance doesn't always cover the care that one is seeking or provide incentive to do so. And some folks feel like they don't have the support from their friends or family to be able to find the time to make the change, or maybe if people are sharing food, that not everyone is on board with making those changes. Others are embarrassed to ask for help, and still some might not feel supported by their healthcare providers. Some might even feel judged by them. So there's a lot to overcome here, but it is possible. So, what is self care? It looks different for everyone, but at its core, self care should be something that feels positive for you, empowering, even. It's something that integrates all the parts of you: mind, body, spirit. It's something that you do intentionally, and it helps you to align more fully with your values and how you want to walk in the world. And all these things make self care incredibly personal. Your self care will not look like someone else's. And you can find self care in a bunch of different realms. It might be physical, right? It could be the sleeping, stretching, walking, a physical release, health food, yoga, rest. But it might have to do with how you're doing emotionally, stress management, emotional maturity, forgiveness, compassion, kindness. Socially, self care might look like setting boundaries with other people. It might look like drawing on your support system, having positive social media, not paying attention to more toxic body images. It might be working on communication, having time with someone else, or even asking for help. Spiritually, it might mean that you need to take some time alone to meditate, to seek connection, whether that's through something like yoga or a hike. Perhaps you journal or spend time in a sacred space like a church, or create a sweet little personal space for yourself in your home. And like we said, it's personal, it's your hobbies, it's knowing yourself and appreciating your personal identity. It's taking time to honor yourself. And it's important that as you explore self-care, that it creates it's taking place in a place that feels safe for you. A healthy learning environment, security and stability can be so helpful. Maybe even having the space organized or uncluttered so that you're not distracted by the things that are around you. And while it's not fun, your self care might involve taking on financial issues, saving, budgeting, managing money, maybe splurging every once in a while on something that makes you feel special, and paying your bills. And as it relates to work, it's about time management and having work boundaries so that you have time for those other elements of your life, other activities that help you to feel more full. It means that you should be able to work in a positive workplace where learning is encouraged and you have opportunities to have breaks in the day. This is a worksheet provided by reachout.com. They have a lot of great self care resources available. I love this one because it provides opportunity for you to consider each of those different areas of self care: physical, um, emotional, your relationships, the social, um, the psychological, which might also touch on the emotional a little bit, or the personal. And then there's the spiritual and workplace, creating an opportunity for you to consider what balance might look like for you, knowing that you have lots of obligations that pull you in lots of directions. Acknowledging what your barriers are, noticing what are some of your negative strategies for coping when there's stress. And if you successfully implement your plan, how would it make you feel? Having that time for discernment can be really helpful as you make changes in your life. We're so grateful for you to take a little bit of time to join us today to explore what self care might look like for you. And we look forward to being with you again soon. Take care, y'all.